seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Navi's turn to ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Navi's turn to pick.
Lycan.
Radiant team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Vengeful spirit.
Navi's turn to pick.
I speak for the trees.
Navi's turn to ban.
Greetings and salutations to the fans. Welcome into the return of the D2L Western Challenge here this week. We're into the nitty-gritty now. One team making their debut here today while the other looks to wind up their overall schedule in Na'Vi. Now, the storyline between these two teams, of course, they both faced off twice at Star Ladder over the weekend, and they ended up splitting those series. They faced once in the groups and once in the overall tiebreakers. Na'Vi was the one to get the best of them last, but RoX at the same time has shown that they can beat this team. And yeah, really interested to see what RoX is going to be bringing to the table in terms of getting off to a good start here in their D2L Western Challenge schedule, while Na'Vi has guaranteed themselves postseason play. Just a matter of how high they can rise in the overall seeding. A win here would secure them, virtually secure them, I should say, a top spot. To help break down the draft and, of course, break down all of the action, as always, welcome in once again, Trouf. And Trouf, we've been apart for, I don't know, not quite a week, but a few days. But yeah, it was a lot of fun getting to watch these teams in action at Star Ladder, both though finishing in the bottom half of the field, so a disappointing result for both.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for them, as I think Na'Vi was 5th, 6th place, and RoX was 7th, 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So not exactly showing the best showing at Star Ladder. It's kind of unfortunate for them. But yeah, I agree. I think Star Ladder in general was a really fun event to watch. And even though we did have some time apart, it was being filled with some good games of Dota nonetheless. So, but yeah, here starting out quickly with the draft for this match anyway. Navi versus RoX KIS, AA and Venge, a very early Venge pickup here for RoX KIS. That's very interesting. And Lycan, speaking of Star Ladder, by the way, there's actually an article I think that just came out on Go To Gamers talking about why did Lycan fare so badly at Star Ladder 9, which is kind of interesting. I haven't read it yet. I just saw the title, but that is interesting because Lycan didn't do so well at Star Ladder. I'm sure there's a number of reasons. I have maybe my own reasons too, but picked up here first position here for Navi.
He's one of those heroes, I think, that so long as you get ahead of him and stay ahead of him and just are very, very focused in your pressure and you contain him, you know, it's the old trope, you know, you cage the animal. That's kind of what it comes down to. And we saw that put into action a number of times over the weekend in terms of teams just understanding, okay, Lycan's going to be impossible to deal with if we don't get ahead of him. Not necessarily ahead of his team, but just so long as we keep him within a range of development that we can deal with, we're going to be okay. And that ended up being how it worked out. Navi, though, certainly going to go very heavy push to begin as they've picked up the Lycan, the Nature's Prophet. Really like the Batrider pickup in third position to go with it. One of the most important things of push strats is usually having that range of initiation that'll make the enemy team feel a little bit more uncomfortable under their own tower when they show up to defend. But RoX is on top of that as well. So you've got two long-range initiators that are very effective at what they do in the bat and the puck. And RoX right now, if there's anything you can say, they do feel a little bit thin. The support play early on out of the AA and the Venge, especially depending on how they end up laning it, because there is tons of aggressive potential right there, especially imagining a Lycan who's going to one lane farm. His lane presence can be a little diminished early on, so we'll see if RoX is going to pressure him that way or if they're just going to look to outmaneuver him and carve the map up with good support roaming in the mid game.
Yeah, Venge and AA on paper sounds nice because you have the Aura from Venge, you have the Chilling Touch from AA, and then the Aurora as well from, or the Wave of Terra from Vengeful. So it's nice on paper. This is kind of interesting with Batrider and Nature's Prophet together. Probably going to see Batrider mid. We do see Nature's Prophet mid sometimes from some teams like Liquid. I know Koikfer runs that a lot in mid. Arteezy sometimes runs that in mid. I don't know if I've ever seen Navi or Dendi play that in mid. I feel like Batrider maybe suits him more. And you made a really good point as far as when you're pushing, being able to still have the threat of an initiation, which I think is very important because sometimes when you just draft pushing lineups and you have no way to actually threaten the other team with a kill by initiating on them, it's very, very easy for the other team to just throw out nukes and just not be afraid of just standing there and defending your towers. But it's a very good point because if you have heroes like Batrider or Clockwork to kind of go in from the backside, or even Nyx with a blink will work too.
Right.
It makes it a lot more scary to actually, you actually have to really plan to defend a tower rather than just getting everyone down there and spamming out your abilities. So that's a really good point.
Well, right now, the Mirana pickup, RoX again, and, you know, this is just quintessentially what I've always referred to as a thin lineup. You can see how everything's going to work together, how it's going to synergize together. I mean, hell, just the Mirana, Ancient Apparition, and Venge, that's a very devastating chain of stuns as well as damage. Talking about leading off with the Magic Missile, a Cold Feet, an Arrow, etc. You could just about guarantee with one good lead-off stun that both of the other two will hit in the Arrow as well as the Cold Feet proc. And but in terms of their damage, it's all going to basically come down to isolating and focusing down the correct targets. You don't have a ton of AoE right here outside of Ancient Apparition with his Ice Blast. Puck, of course, Waning Rift does okay damage early on, and if you manage to catch 2 or 3 with the Orb, that helps, but mostly it's just going to come down to good communication, whereas Na'Vi kind of has a little bit of everything, a bit of a grab bag of a team. They've got the push, they've got good global presence with Nature's Prophet, as well as the Visage Familiars once he hits 6. They've got good range, good magic damage, and once Lycan gets an item or 2 up, he'll contribute very good physical damage as well. So at this point, I think Navi's lineup a little easier to execute on the overall, but RoX, again, this is just a gold-black, quintessential gold-black lineup. This is how he likes to draft, and he's shown time and time again, going back for years now, that he knows how to get a team to execute this kind of lineup. The Timbersaw, though, does give them some much-needed AoE and some much-needed mid-game punch.
Yeah, if they win the early game, RoX KIS, that is, their mid game is going to be really scary. Like, Timbersaw is going to do so much damage. That's the only thing I fear, though, is if they don't win the early game, I don't know how they're going to win. They'll be okay in the mid game and then not so good at all in the late game. But Navi has kind of a greedy lineup, and I use that word scarcely, but it is because I don't know. They picked the Visage to try to protect the Lycan against this, what's going to almost likely be an aggressive tri-lane from Roxkiss with a Mirana, Venge, and AA. This last pick is going to be kind of important too. I wonder if Navi is going to do some kind of mind game things here and just send like a dual lane top, or I mean a tri-lane top, and then like another hero just to roam around from that tri-lane and then try to just avoid the tri-lane from Roxkiss. I see Navi do this kind of thing a lot, where they'll just try to mind game to their team just to try to secure a little bit of farm on your core, and then they try to rotate around, and then you counter rotate just so you can get some kind of farm. Because if it's straight up tri-lane versus tri-lane, this AA Venge Mirana is going to be pretty scary for Navi. So very curious to see what their last pick here is.
Yeah, the last pick, whenever you look at the way it could pan out, depending on how greedy Navi wants to be about it. I mean, you would imagine, like you said, the Batrider seems to make sense mid here with the Prophet in the offlane, plus one support to go with Lycan and Visage, just to give him a little extra protection. But you could even completely flip it around and send the Prophet right to the jungle Batrider offlane, and then go with a mid now for Dendi. But I feel like that would be really rolling the dice quite a lot, because you do have some strong laning.
Your Lycan would get just pummeled.
Exactly.
He would get, and the thing is,
exactly.
like, that will work if you have an elusive hero in the safe lane that can like dodge ganks. Like if you had like a Slark or something, just kind of sit there and get Weaver, exactly. Just sit there, get experience, and kind of run around when they gank you. You can't do that with Lycan. When they run at you, you just kind of take it. So it's gonna, yeah. I'm not quite sure. It could just be a very, very strong defensive support hero. Lich is okay, although Lich isn't good until he hits like level 3 and he'll try lane. So it's kind of iffy. This is where Lich could be in the sense that if you try to do something crazy, like, you know, them going offlane with it. I don't know. I just feel like I have this feeling that Navi's going to do something weird to catch us off guard, to try to like catch Roxkiss off guard. But we could see the standard tri-lane versus tri-lane here. I really think that Roxkiss is going to go aggressive.
Yeah, the nice thing about a Lich here is it'll be tough for him to drift quite as much, assuming that it's going to be a Roxkiss offensive tri-lane, but Puppey can head towards mid and even help out there with sacrifices and what have you. But yeah, I think this is a good draft from Roxkiss overall. I think we're both of the same mind, though, that the early game and the laning phase is where they have to get a lot of work done. If they're able to come out ahead there, they're just going to be able to roam the entire map and take fights at will on the back of a well-farmed Puck, who Solo is really going to have to do quite well in that role. An early blink would be devastating to Navi if the Batrider is trailing behind in that regard. It will be Dendi on the bat as anticipated, so looks like it is just going to be standard defensive tri-lane fare as Kuro, Puppey, and Havost are all heading up to the top lane. But we'll see how Roxkiss shapes up. Again, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see that O-Tri as, yep, Sadoy's now making his way down to the safe lane while 633 makes his way all the way to top.
Yeah, they just switched it. I thought for a second they were going to go safe lane with it. I'm like, this is very scary to me, because if they just give free farm to Lycan and then Bat goes to the jungle, or not Bat, but I guess, yeah, Bat's going to be mid, that would be very, very scary. So they need to press this issue, I feel, and they've made that decision. Lots of pings around Roche, but no one's doing it.
Yep, no early Roshan, not at the moment anyway, so looks like both teams content to stay on their own side of the river, so we'll take a look at the lineup, see who's handling who as we wait for the horn to blow. It'll be Yol playing on our Ancient Apparition, with Solo handling our Puck. The Murano will be played by 633. It'll be Golblack on the Vengeful Spirit. Expect to see him very active early on, and Sadoy solo farming in the safe lane that Timber saw. Other side of the river, Navi has Puppey starting out here in mid. He will drift the top after getting a sacrifice out to help Dendi up. Dendi's on that Batrider, as we saw. Havost will be on the Lycan. The Visage going to be played by Kuro, and Nature's Prophet taken into the offlane by Funnick.
I actually really like offlane Furion, by the way. We don't see it very much anymore, and I actually remember in an interview, I think it was like with Sheever and Admiral Bulldog at Starladder. Oh, there's some action maybe mid. No, okay. Talking about the Furion and the Prophet offlane and how it doesn't work anymore. There's just better offlaners. I feel like Furion's actually still pretty good in the offlane. Cinderin was talking about he actually feels the same way, and well, could see some action here onto Kuroki. Here comes a stun out on him.
Yep. Magic Missile leads it off. Can they follow it up? A little bit of right-click damage, and there's going to be the Chilling Touch. There's Grave Chill to slow them down. Puppey comes over, uses Sacrifice. Havost is there to help defend as well. Trading of the auto attacks. Looks like Navi actually came out a little bit ahead there. They were taking a bit of damage. I don't know, about even really. Y'all took some damage as well. So already we saw an attempt to catch out a straggler by Roxkiss. Didn't go their way. So we'll wait for that lane to reset. Elsewhere, we've got Sadoya versus Funnick. What do you think of this matchup, Timbersaw versus Furion?
It's not very good for Furion because one of the things he's good at in lanes like this, in solo lanes, is just throwing your trees on the other hero. And since they don't aggro creeps, you can just do it and not even think about it. But the thing is, Timbersaw with reactive armor is just never going to take enough damage for you to actually get a kill onto him. And even if he gets at level 2 here, next level, yeah, Furion's just never going to do enough damage to him. So I favor the Timbersaw in this matchup.
You're in mid, Solo up against Dendi. We can see Dendi sitting at 7 CS through the 3 of Solo. He's keeping some very high stacks on the Solo right now, certainly making things difficult. The early Magic Stick, a predictable pickup and helping him out already.
Wow.
And, yep, so Dendi getting some damage done in the meantime, and even the Magic Stick, not enough to keep him above half health, at least at the moment. And, as if matters couldn't get worse, Dendi going to find himself a double damage rune at 2 minutes as well.
Yeah, I really don't think you can afford to give yourself that many stacks against a bat. Even if he's not going on you right away, it just makes it so much more potent if he decides to. But just for a second there, he popped the Firefly and just literally 1 second just did half his HP. So, yeah, he's got to be a little more careful about getting so many stacks onto him. It's more, obviously, easier said than done, but...
Up at top, continuing to play right in front of each other. This is one of those lanes that so far has been relatively quiet, but you know when it breaks out, it's going to be probably a lot of early damage. If there are deaths, there'll be immediate TPs and so on and so forth because of the importance of this lane for both teams. So continuing to try to keep the camera there, but they are farming basically right in front of each other's face for the most part. We can see Furion is doing quite well in bottom, by the way. He's sitting at 13 CS now. The Timbersaw at just 8, so Sadoy kind of getting bullied around a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, it's not like a terrible matchup for him. He can still farm very well, like with the treants. He can always get last hits when he wants to. I just feel like you don't have any kill potential on the Timbersaw, and that's one of Furion's strengths in a 1v1 matchup, is being able to always keep them low and keep them in a position to where you can kill them. But yeah, Furion, Phonic doing really well down here. Much better than I think he should.
Yeah, I agree. And we can see Phonic's early phase boots build is paying dividends. He's able to get as close as he wants, harass as much as he wants, has the extra damage for last hitting and for harassment. And he doesn't really face a lot of threat from a Timbersaw, even with Timber Chain. He's just going to be able to get close to his tower soon enough that the burst is going to be a little lagging in terms of bringing him down quick enough. But so far, this top lane is staying quiet. And honestly, I think that favors Na'Vi quite a bit. We can see the Lycan sitting at 7 CS, about half of that of the Mirana. And that in and of itself is a bit of a win for RoX, but they're also keeping everyone alive and breathing.
Yeah, it's not. Yes, as long as this goes passively and no one's dying, I agree. I think this favors Na'Vi. They just have a better mid game, way better late game. Oh, here comes some action.
Chilling touch, procced. Yep, there's the arrow off the mark. Havos dodged it. Would have died for sure. Still going to end up being first blood as Golblack connects on the magic missile, and the chilling touch damage showing itself there. Dendi now spotted out. And not enough mana, almost enough for a magic missile. Looks like they will go ahead and turn back and just take what they can get. And because of that rotation, Solo getting a little bit of a respite here in mid and finding a few more CS. He's now cut that lead to 17 to 21 in terms of overall CS. So not only a good kill, but getting a little time for their mid certainly helpful too.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better now. And bottom lane, I was going to mention Timbersaw. He's actually increased his CS just a little bit more now, so it's relatively even. I am kind of interested why he didn't go like a second point into reactive armor. Maybe he just really wants the damage output from the Timber Chain, and that's good too. I just think that you can really just get up in their face and bully them with extra stacks in your reactive armor. But to each their own. I think this is still fine. And he's bumped his CS just a little bit, but still, Phonic is leading the boards here with 25 and 13. So good for him.
Magic missile on Havos. Arrow gonna be dodged again. Shot just a little late. Kuro eating a lot of damage right up front. But here comes Puppy and the Furion ulti, helping to clear things up. Phonic teleports in. They're looking for another kill on the Golblack if they can find him. Not enough mana though for the Sprout, so he will eat one more Ice Blast and a couple of auto attacks. Down he goes. So Na'Vi punishing the aggression of Roxkis that time. And that's twice now that the arrow has just been a smidge late coming out from 6 to 3, and it's cost them. They got the one kill whenever the one missed, but that time definitely made a difference. Dendi going to be coiled in mid, and not enough mana for a Starfall or for an arrow. Dendi going to be silenced out. Auto attacks, are they going to be enough? Solo jaunts underneath the tower, and Dendi able to make it away by the skin of his teeth. So a lot of damage actually done there to the Mirana and the Puck both. So that's actually not too bad. He barely survived, but wasting a lot of time, and going to find himself a DD rune to get him right back into fighting shape.
Yeah, actually, right before that engagement up top, Phonic hit level 6, like right before. Now he dings level 7, so that was a really good engagement for him. If he didn't hit level 6 right there, it could have been a little bit different there for Na'Vi. So well played by Na'Vi and good job by Funnick. And his extra levels and good farm is really coming into play here. And now he's got another 1,400 gold under his belt. Potential action in mid. Hope he will be okay in mid. So yeah, good here for Na'Vi.
Roxkus rotating, a little bit of help in the mid. Yol's hanging out there along with Goldblack. Up at top, this is Havos being left totally alone. As at bottom, we can see 633 has brought his Mirana down to the bottom lane. But yeah, for right now, everything is looking pretty solid for Na'Vi. And actually, Timbersaw manages to get himself a kill underneath the tower as well with that Timber Chain. So Sadoy able to get another kill. Now maybe some action here in mid. Puppy showing his face. Dendi about half health. There's a Magic Mill shot uphill. There's going to be Goldblack hit with the Grave Chill and the Soul Assumption, plus an auto attack enough to bring him down. Na'Vi able to get a little payback immediately. They had to lose the Prophet in order to get the Venge in mid, however. So already a very close match, 7 minutes in. Dendi is in great shape in terms of his overall CS. He's going to have his Blink Dagger up in mere moments, but Puck's not far behind. However, comparatively, he is. As we can see, nope, there's another coil on the Dendi. Here comes the door to try to make something happen. Waning Rift is there. Whirling Death and a Chakram. Enough to make it 3-3. And here comes the Furion ultimate up at top. Yol's going to be hit, and the Furion ulti connects. One more auto attack will bring him down too. So action beginning to break out all over the map, and I think this is pretty much what we expected.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And Havost and Puppy sitting at top lane. Havost going to come out. Havost has made up a lot of ground in terms of overall CS. Now in great shape compared to the Mirana. Mirana's still looking for her phase boots. Does have up her claws of attack. Yep, there we go. Manages to get those up quickly. But here early on, 7 kills in. Who do you think has won out on the laning phase? Do you think Roxkus has done enough work, or do you think Na'Vi has managed to stem the tide?
I think that Navi's in a great position, actually. Like, as long as they're even, I haven't even looked at the graphs yet, and it's actually going the way of Na'Vi. Even is really bad for RoX. Like, they need to be ahead to be even at this point, just because the nature of their lineup. You're going up against a Lycan Furion into the late game, and Furion's having a wonderful time, and Lycan's actually up there as far as top CS, as top 4 in the game, which is scary when you're tri-laning without a very aggressive tri-lane against it. So things are going very, very well for Na'Vi, and they will continue to go well unless we get... Oh, I missed it, but bottom, there was a kill from Yol.
I had an eye on it. They managed to hem him in. It was actually a really nice piece of decision-making to give Kuro any chance to get away at all there, as the arrow was off the mark, and he ducked in a way that you wouldn't expect him to into the Radiant jungle, but still managing to track him down. That's 4-4, but right now, I'm like you. I feel like this is, even though it seems like it's a very close game, it's really not whenever you look at the way things are going to develop out. And Sadoy, we can already see, beginning to feel a little bit scared. There's the Midas done for Funnick, so that in many ways puts Roxkus's lineup on a clock, especially given where Havost is. Has up a Medallion, a Bassi, and another 1,000 gold aside. If he wants to finish his boots, he can do that, or he can just go ahead and rush straight up to a Blaz. Yeah,
this could be a turning point, though, for Roxkus with the early blink on solo. He doesn't even have treads. So this is a 9-minute blink, and I think this is good. Honestly, I like getting the treads before blink, but I think they realize that they need to do something, and they need to do something fast. Because he is the only one that's really kind of taken off to the races, is this Puck with 51 CS. Here comes a Potom ulti. It was pinged out, I believe, by Puppy. Or sorry, no, that was Blue's ping. That was Yol's ping. But maybe looking for a solo kill. Yeah, Puck solo gets a kill on Batrider. So yeah.
And Dendi had his Blink Dagger on the way to him, actually. Wasn't in his inventory yet, but we can see it sitting right there. Up at top, we can see Sadoy hemmed in. Funnick's going to TP in. Puppy there to help out along with Kuro, and they bring him down easily. Rotation's coming. Goldblack making his way up as his solo. Solo pops the haste rune. Has his blink and does not have a coil. Goldblack going to be hit, and there goes the ultimate. That's going to get a couple of bounces. They're going to be able to bring down Funnick. Goldblack gets a little love from the RNG King, and Puppy falling back, getting the sacrifice off. Behind that, though, able to hook back up as Lich managing to get the job done and bring down Goldblack. The Timbersaw taking the biff there as well. We're still remaining tied at 6-6 at the moment, though. So 12 kills in an 11-minute game. We're split right down the middle. Very close, but so far for Roxkus, this is when they should be winning, and they're breaking even.
Yeah, even if they are getting nice pickoffs and engagements, like Puck is the only one that has substantial farm on his team, and now he's the one that can't really be farming anymore. He's got to be ganking and things, and that was a good exchange for him. But again, when it goes even like this, Navi's just going to benefit in the long run. They really are. So yeah, they need to keep piling on the aggression. Here's another smoke inside the base here for RoX KIS. And yeah, again, they just need to keep piling on the aggression and keep pressing the issue. They need some big team fights. They need to like 4-for-2 exchanges a couple times.
Avi smoked up as well, moving 2 up towards top. Sidoi, the likely target, once again. Dendi again has that blink dagger ready to show it for the first time. It was on the way when they killed him before. Glad's not on Havos. This should be a kill. Sidoi lassoed back. Here come the Visage Familiars to guarantee the stun. Arrow way off the mark, but able to bring him down. Furion ulti just enough, and a little bit of see you later damage to 63. This will prompt a reaction as RoX KIS is now rotating some help up to top. Na'Vi has 4 there. In the meantime, though, Funnick doing his job on the Furion split, pushing bottom. While action happens here, we're going to have Kuro caught with the coil, but only Kuro. AA blast on the way, and they manage to trade the Visage away. But at the same time, again, Funnick just doing work down at bottom, finding solo farm, solo CS, and keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, and his ulti's doing so much damage, and he doesn't have to be there for any of the fights. That's the power of just global heroes in general. He doesn't have to be there. Oh, double TP here at bottom. It's Avenge. Can he get the swap up? Oh, Goldblack, he was so close to getting it. Trying to be as fast as possible, but couldn't quite get the swap. Furion just a little bit too fast for them, so unfortunate. But yeah, good split push there by Funnick, and I'm not sure what build he's going to go here. I know the popular one. Oh, here comes another round ulti.
Solo and 633 together. Moving up, and they're going to have a chance to catch out Puppy. Yeah, Puppy's dead. And the Waning Rift, as well as Starfall, and down he goes. So, free one there. In the meantime, though, Goldblack is going to spot out Havos moving into the Roche pit. Saw it happening. That's going to prompt the ulti. Now, Goldblack has to run. Dendi's right behind him. Lasso in 5 seconds. Blink is up if they want it. And here comes Funnick just to help secure things. Didn't have to spin the lasso. In the meantime, Sidoi's right behind it, but can't engage into 3. He's going to be spotted by Dendi, who lassos him back. That's a lot of creeps burning as well. Funnick right there with the auto attack damage, but Sidoi able to use the timber chain to get back to safety. Funnick in the meantime being pursued behind that by Solo, and looks like RoX KIS will be able to clear their own jungle. I just heard a coil go off actually, and yeah, managing to get him behind that. Sidoi moving back up. We can see Havos is actually right outside of the fight, along with Dendi sitting on the high ground as the rest of them collapse. Puppy shows his face. Another sacred arrow up in just about a second. But the rest of them have split up. Up at top, we can see Kuro is getting some split pushing done with his familiars. And looks like finally the battle will disjoin a little bit.
Yeah, really nice long-range arrow there from 633. The coil came out, and then Funnick used the sprout on himself to kind of get vision away from him, but arrow just nailed him right in the face, so able to get that kill. So again, though, the problem still persists of Na'Vi just out-farming and just cutting even with the RoX KIS, and graphs are still in favor of Na'Vi, so this is good that they're getting some pickoffs, but the thing is they're using pretty much all their members to run around the map and do so. They have really no one farming.
Yep.
Whereas Na'Vi, they're able to somewhat trade in these fights, but they still have about two heroes farming, and even Kuroki's farming as he's getting up a medallion and some decent gold on him too. So yeah, it is good. Oh, I missed that, but the Puppy gets killed out, and yeah, so good for Sidoi, but Funnick, he's almost got a Necro 1, and it's going to be really bad here once he gets that up, because it's going to be easy Roche every single time they want to.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well, the squishiness of RoX KIS's lineup is really going to begin to show itself soon. A ultimate shot, and Solo there to help push things out a little bit more. But Furion already level 11, as you mentioned, he's going to be having even more push power. Goldblack's going to be spotted out by Dendi, and Boast right there to follow it up. So easy kill for them. Furion ulti goes off just to help secure things. Behind that, we can see 633 could be in trouble. Dendi right on his tail. There's a Chilling Touch. He gives a little bit more damage. Chakram helps slow things down a little bit. Chilling Touch onto y'all. Soul Assumption enough to bring him down. Behind that, Sidoi has to back out. There's going to be another Ice Blast. And look at the damage that we're beginning to see out of that mix of magic plus physical damage. Behind the fight, they're not done. Dendi blinking and trying to find 633, and they didn't even need it, as Funnick was right there to teleport in behind. And the whole time up atop, Solo doing what he can, but not coming to the fight. He can't exactly split push with the puck. He's finding a little bit of farm, but after that, the overall net worth shows Na'Vi with 3 in the top 4 right now, and it doesn't look like they're done here in this bottom lane.
Yeah, that was a 4 for nothing exchange in favor of Na'Vi.
Up, Coil.
Oh, here comes a Coil onto just
One.
Funnick, though. He might die, but I think Solo might pay with his life. Here comes a Soul Assumption. AA ulti flying out through. Funnick might die. He does die. So nice job by Yol. Souls, or it's not Solo, is trying to do some elusive maneuver. He attacks the creeps. Now might just get spotted out, but he should be fine. So at least able to get that kill onto the Furion. So nice job by the AA.
Time, Dendi back in the jungle. Has his Force Staff done now. Virtually done, I should say. But yeah, we're beginning to see the chasm in terms of overall net worth and experience really begin to open up. Close to a 7,500 gold lead for Na'Vi. And I don't know that RoX, outside of just basically taking control of the game this second right now, I don't know that they have the firepower to stop them from snowballing out of control. They just basically have to fight every single chance they get. Otherwise, they're going to get split pushed to death. Otherwise, they're just going to get run over by the mid-game power of a Lycan and a Nature's Prophet for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're going to have double Necro books here for Na'Vi. They're going to have... Actually, they already have them. Necro's finished them in Havost, and his medallion, by the way, is doing work in these fights as you see people just get crushed. Like Timber saw, one reactive armor just gets destroyed by... Oh, here comes some action. Solo, he already cast his orb. Easy kill. Easy kill for Na'Vi. They were doing Rosh in the meantime, but Havos backed off for the time being. I saw Rosh actually walk all the way out from his pin. I'm like, wait, did it die? No, but he just walked out, went to do some ancients. This is going to be a top tower push, and they might go back into Rosh. So, yeah, Na'Vi's just banging on all cylinders here in the mid-game.
Down goes the tier 1. Second tier 1 to drop. And let's see if they want to continue to push. Really not a whole lot of reasons why they shouldn't. Lasso is on cooldown, but that's not going to matter that much overall. Havos is back in the pit, and they might have a chance to catch him. They're going to move up. They need to get there very quickly. There we go. Havost spotted out, pops the ultimate, and there's the stun. Who's going to get it? Funnick managed to grab that, actually. And now they're going to turn it around, and that just about might be that. So Funnick able to grab the Aegis, coming in to help his teammate out, knowing that help was on the way from RoX. Anyway, now Sadoy spotted out. And we can already see it. Dagon's actually been picked up by the Puck in Book 3 in the meantime, though. Done on the Prophet. Funnick shows back up. 3 stacks. There's the Sprout and the Firefly. A little bit extra damage, and down he goes. Yol was there to try to help. Solo there to help follow it up. So that's a nice kill to go ahead and grab the Aegis off of the Nature's Prophet. And let's see if he can get away. They may be able to follow this up. Puppy's coming to help, though. Coil was spinning. Only got him. Dendi going to be able to lasso Solo down. And there's the ultimate. That's going to get a bunch of bounces. And the follow-up from Funnick's own ultimate, Nature's Wrath. That's a lot of magic damage. And again, this is what we were talking about during the draft and what I was worried about. You're just beginning to see how squishy they all are. No one near any sort of magic immunity at this point. And between nothing, absolutely nothing, but the Nature's Prophet ultimate and Puppy's Chain Frost, they're just going to evaporate in these fights.
Yeah, and again, this is just going to get worse. I can't stress that enough. And the problem with the lineup for RoX, just as we alluded to towards the beginning, is that a level 3 Necro book? Yeah, it's a level 3 Necro book from Furion. Yep. That's a level 3 Necro book for Havos too. Or Havos 4, I should say. But the problem with this lineup is that they had to, this is like heroes that you have to crush with, like absolutely dominate. We kill them 5 times in 2 minutes up top. We take the tower. We start roaming on mid. But the thing is you never. I feel like it's very risky to draft a lineup where you have to crush, because you can, and it certainly can happen. But if it doesn't, if you don't, things happen. People get lucky runes or things like that. And things just happen. If it doesn't happen, then you just lose most of the time.
Right.
So it's kind of a very, as you mentioned, I think you would use the word thin, which is I think a very good word for the draft here from RoX. So it's very thin, I feel.
Just look at the damage from nothing but Furion's ultimate. That's a quarter health bar for the 2 most farmed heroes on RoX. We're gonna see a coil spent to try and save Solo. And he may be able to jaunt away because of it. Yeah, he's going to be able to make it away even though most of Na'Vi was there.
Funnick, solo kill onto Yol, perhaps.
Yep, going to be able to bring him down. However, there's a follow-up from Solo. Funnick getting a little bit greedy. And don't know that that was worthwhile, trading your Furion for an ancient apparition who is largely underfarmed and feeling almost irrelevant this game. Most of the time, especially by 20 minutes in, your AA begins to feel really punchy. But to tell you the truth, I just haven't felt that from RoX at all. His ultimates have felt pretty irrelevant. Chilling Touch was nice in lane, but just haven't seen a whole lot come out of that pick. And Avost now going to work on the tower. Just look at this thing melt. They're going to pop the glyph. And Sadoy trying to hold the line. Has to be careful. That's a DD on that Lycan. He may be able to chase him down. And will. There's no mana. A ultimate comes out. There's a stun from Goldblack to try and save him. A ultimate does connect. And they're going to come back in using the Mirana ulti to try and pursue him out. Navos just doesn't care. He actually now tried to go farm and is going to end up dead because of it. So nice pickup from RoX to try and turn that around. Dendi has the lasso ready and we'll go ahead and spend it on Solo. Goldblack's right there as well. Chain Frost shot out and they do secure a kill on the Solo because of it. Goldblack not out of the woods quite yet. He's going to try to TP away. Funix there to help out with some right click and the Nature's Wrath for a little bit of extra burst. 22-13. Can only imagine this game beginning to wind itself down as 15K in 21 minutes. That's getting into the territory of rather insurmountable. Gonna guess you're muted up, my friend, so hopefully... There he is. Heard him flicking off that time. Maybe? Or maybe he's just being quiet. I don't know. We'll figure out if we can get him back on the call momentarily. But Na'Vi continuing to just clean house. Sacred Arrow off the mark, but at this point, really Na'Vi in complete control of this. I mean, we take a look at the item development on RoX because it is just woefully anemic. Only a point booster up on our Ancient Apparition, a Scepter, a Forlorn Thought. Dagon certainly helps in damage for Solo, but not a whole hell of a lot else. The Mirana just has a Yasha and Drum, so she's not going to be carrying anyone anywhere. And then warding from Goldblack. And Sadoy is probably the most the most poor Timbersaw I've ever seen in 22 minutes. Sitting on more or less nothing. Has himself an urn, a bottle, and a set of arc boots. He does have 1,500 gold set away, so he is making some progress, but for the most part, just really not feeling punchy at all, which is what you want out of a Timbersaw. Havos spotted out by Solo. We'll go ahead and spin the coil, and Havos, there's the AA ultimate as well. They may be able to chase him down. Dendi coming in to help out, though. There's going to be a lasso as they get a return kill instead. And this is just a complete lack of damage and survivability. Mirana and Timber spot out Dendi, but he's moving too quick. He picked up the Mask of Madness, so that extra movement speed certainly nice. In the meantime, at bottom, Funnick, along with Kuro and Puppy, pushing down yet another tower. And pretty much everything collapsing around the knees of Roxkus right now. Absolutely no farm, pretty much no levels, and their map control, what little there was left, beginning to fall apart as well. And yeah, now we're up to in excess of 20K in favor of Na'Vi. Arrow will connect, that'll hit Kuro, but the number of creeps they got to push through just to come into these fights is massive. Here's an AA ultimate, and this can sometimes extend games by itself with well-shot ultimates like that. To tell you the truth, I don't know if they care that much. Solo comes in and gets a little bit of damage done. Na'Vi's just going to wait this out. There's the Moonlight Shadow, and the dust out from Puppies. He gets off the ultimate. Solo coming back in. Funix right there. They managed to sprout in the Mirana, forcing another leap, but Solo Assumption enough to bring her down behind that. Just not enough damage. Sadoy wandering out. They're trying to bring down Funnick, and they will be able to follow it up with a magic missile from Goldblack. Sadoy now on the high ground, and will be able to punish Kuro as well. Taking a lot of damage to do so. Goldblack tried to get a swap off. And a buyback now from Funnick. Here comes the ultimate, and yeah, he basically just brought down the Ancient Apparition from half health with nothing but Nature's Wrath. Solo is quite low afterwards as well. And he's going to move on up, and they will be managed to bring down Dendi after he picks off Goldblack. Funnick's right on his tail now, though. Has Jaunt in a few seconds. Not going to get a chance to use it as Funnick just a little too big, too quick. And it's up. Havos just bringing down buildings, man. Playing the one-man wrecking crew. 3,200 gold along with his book 3. Solo's going to re-engage after buying back, but Havos is just too tanky. There's the coil spin. Don't know that he cares that much. He will just wait it out. Mirana now the target, though. Hits the Sacred Arrow. Actually, no. Shot it. Looks like hits something else. And below that, a more split push now out of... I have no idea why that popped up because that is turned off. But, yeah, this is going to be 2 sets of racks down. It looks like Roxkus down to their last couple of minutes here in this game. And Puppy eating a little bit of right click, but Kuro's there. So would be expecting the GG soon. And talking about where everything went wrong, I mean, it really does just come down to what Tralf and I were talking about throughout the whole cast. And Tralf unfortunately did disconnect, so if you're just tuning in, I'm not talking over him completely. Puppy being pursued by Sadoy, but even he's beginning to feel rather tanky. Gets off the Frost Blast, and now the Visage Familiars are there, forcing the Timber Chain. Solo coming back out, but Kuro really just not feeling scared at all with that Scepter. He is quite tanky, 1,700 HP for him. And let's see if they want to follow it up. They will be able to get a kill on the Familiar there. Funnick's there, and they managed to bring down Solo again. But Yep, there it is, the GG. But yeah, what it comes down to really is just the idea that RoX had a very nice lineup for roaming, a very aggressive lineup, especially in a try-on-try against the Lycan, that if they executed it, would have a ton of kill potential. Just the stuns, being able to chain Cold Feet, Sacred Arrow off of the Magic Missile, the bonus damage that comes out from the Venge Aura, especially from